Okay, so in number 18, we're supposed to find sine of pi over 12, cosine pi over 12, and tan pi over 12. And there's a suggestion here is to use this fact and the results of number 13. Number 13 was deriving the angle difference formulas of cosine alpha minus beta and sine alpha minus beta. So I'm going to write those down right here before we start. So cosine of alpha minus beta ended up being cosine alpha cosine beta plus sine alpha sine beta, and sine of alpha minus beta ended up being sine alpha cos beta minus cos alpha sine beta. Let me double check that and make sure that was right. Yeah, the first one's plus, second one's minus. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, so what we need now is sine of pi over 12, and pi over 12 is not one of those special angles that we've ever looked at before. It's but because of this, we do know all the pi over 3's and all the pi over 4 values when you plug them into the trig functions. So we can end up figuring out pi over 12 by using these difference formulas. So let's do sine pi over 12 first. So sine of pi over 12 is really sine of pi over 3 minus pi over 4. And I'm going to make the pi over 3 the same thing as alpha, and the pi over 4 the same thing as beta. And now I'm really just plugging into this formula that's right here. Right? So if I just do that, I'm going to get sine of pi over 3 cosine of pi over 4 minus cosine of pi over 3 sine of pi over 4. Alright, so sine of pi over 3, that's the same thing as 60 degrees in the first quadrant. And so I'm going to make this 1 root 3 and 2 here. So sine of pi over 3 is going to be root 3 over 2. I'll put pi over 3 up here. And cosine of pi over 4, let's do pi over 4 here. That's pi over 4. And that's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Or a pi over 4, pi over 4, pi over 2 triangle. Oh. So cosine of pi over 4 is going to be 1 over root 2. And then I'm going to subtract cosine of pi over 3, which I can get from this triangle is 1/2, times sine of pi over 4, that's again going to be 1 over root 2, just like cosine of pi over 4. Now if I simplify, I get root 3 over 2 root 2 minus 1 over 2 root 2, and then I can simplify a little bit more with root 3 minus 1 over 2 root 2. And for me, that's a totally fine answer. Let's do cosine. So cosine of pi over 12 is going to be the same thing as cosine of pi over 3 minus pi over 4. Okay. Is that true? 4, 3, yeah. All right. So let's see. If we use the cosine rule that's here, we're going to get, where this is alpha and this is beta again, I'm going to get cosine of pi over 3 cosine of pi over 4 plus sine of pi over 3 sine of pi over 4. And we just figured out in the previous problem all those values. So cosine of pi over 3 was 1/2. Cosine of pi over 4 was 1 over root 2. Sine of pi over 3 was root 3 over 2. And sine of pi over 4 was 1 over root 2. This is pretty similar to the previous problem. A little bit different. I get 1 over 2 root 2 plus root 3 over 2 root 2. So that's going to end up being 1 plus root 3 all over 2 root 2. So there's cosine of pi over 12. The last one we need is tangent of pi over 12, and there's no special formula for that one, but we already have sine and cosine. So this is the same thing as sine of pi over 12 over cosine of pi over 12. So that's going to end up being what we got for sine, which was root 3 minus 1 over 2 root 2. And then the whole thing is over 1 plus root 3 over 2 root 2. And then since they're both over 2 root 2, those are going to end up canceling. And if you don't see why, you could think of it as multiply the numerator and the denominator by 2 root 2, and this one will cancel with that, this one will cancel with that, and we're left now with root 3 minus 1 over 1 plus root 3. Turns out you can simplify this one a little bit. You can multiply by the conjugate of the bottom. So that would be times 1 minus root 3 over 1 minus root 3. And if you work this out, then the numerator, let's see, what do we get here? Root 3 plus another root 3 is 2 root 3. We get negative 1 there and negative 3 there. So I'm subtracting 4. And then in the bottom, I got 1 times 1 is 1. I've got a negative root 3, a positive root 3, so those cancel. And then root 3 times root 3 is just 3. So at this point you end up with, whoop, not plus, minus, sorry. So you end up with 2 root 3 minus 4 over negative 2, which ends up being, 2 minus root 3, if you work that all the way out. Okay, there you go.